if there's no God, then there's no objective morality. If there's no objective morality...
So, I want to first start off by saying, like, by no standard at all am I, like, a authority when it comes to, like, morality or, Christianity or atheism. So everything that you're about to hear from me is just going to be a layman, view on the subject at hand. Christians often use this, like, gotcha, right? Where they're saying, like, but no shade to this creator. I'm friends with this creator. It's not him. It's just in general. But Christians like to use this gotcha, like, okay, from an atheist perspective, there's no, like, objective morality. So, like, what right do you have to tell somebody else what to do? Essentially, like, both of your morals are justified. Because they're kind of like on the same ground. You guys have nothing to say why we should listen to one's morals over another person's morals. I don't think that subjective morals are essentially a bad thing. I think we live in a world where we have to evaluate what actions are going to cause harm to others and, like, what actions are best for human survival. And I think that's how things have came to be. We as human beings are, like, social creatures, and in order to survive, we have to, like, coexist and move as a collective, right? It's harder to survive just moving by yourself. And in doing that, we also have to learn how to live with each other. And part of learning how to live with each other is respecting each other's boundaries, not harming each other, not stealing other people's resources. You can make the argument that Christianity has helped establish morals in history, but I also think that it's possible that we could have come to the same conclusions without God. To be honest, I'm kind of anti the Christian God. I just have a lot of problems with Christianity, and I don't like the idea of saying that we're nothing without God, or we need God to have morals or be moral beings. This whole, like, fascination with putting God in everything, like, we don't need to put God in everything. I think that, like, we as a society have, established a punishment in regards to, like, our judicial system and jail for crimes like grape, right? And how do we know that grape is wrong in a world with subjective morals where people might think that grape is good? Well, we evaluate the potential harm of grape and decide whether this would be a good action or a bad action. And grape is clearly a bad action in the sense of how it affects people who are, like, being dominated by people that they don't want to be dominated by and being violated in ways that they don't want to be violated in, which is going to result in, like, mental trauma and pain that they're going to have to deal with for the rest of their lives. We live by a human contract. I'm not going to do to you what I wouldn't like done to me. And that's how we live collectively. And we establish punishments for certain crimes that would cause harm on other people. And we do this for everything. If we're moving on from grape, let's talk about robbery. Let's talk about, physical assault and various amounts of things. We evaluate things based off of, what is the potential harm that these things are going to cause to individuals? And we don't need a God to tell us that, hey, maybe I shouldn't rob somebody and steal their resources that they're going to use to make a living or, feed their families. Yes, in this world we have people who think that robbing and pillaging and graping is good. Those people are demented, but a majority of us can agree that these things are harmful and cause harm in the world, and we can all agree not to partake in these things for our collective survival based off of a human contract and based off of the fact that we have a naturalistic or evolutionary type sense of empathy that's evolved over the years. And as we grow, as we learn more information, we start to learn that certain behaviors are bad, wrong, and we shouldn't do them. And this is just in order to make the world a better place, essentially. I still have to do research on this, but this is just, like, off the top of my head, based off of, like, what I know. This is my response, so...